Hi, it's Brandon from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the half kneeling hip flexor stretch with IR bias and lateral flexion. Now this is a mouthful, but really we're trying to tell our body what we're doing and let you know what we're going to do in terms of the bias of this exercise with our hip flexors. Now this is aimed at focusing on the QL, the TFL, and all the small, tiny hip internal rotators. If somebody's got really tight hips, this may help you, or even tight hip flexors, this may help you feel those relax, because it may not just be your psoas that's causing an issue. It could be anything else on the outside or the lateral aspect of your body that is also incredibly tight. And so by doing this, we're going to try to help open that up. I got an AirX pad here just for comfort, but what we're going to do, you need a rack or a wall or something you can place your leg on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our inside ankle is what's actually making contact with the pole or the wall or whatever it is you're using. But otherwise we're going to be in a half kneeling position outside of that. So what you can see here is that I've got this foot up against the wall and I'm actually creating pressure with it, okay? So I can actually already feel this rec fem, or part of my quad, hip flexor already starting to open up. And then the dowel rod here can either be for support or for feedback as we put it on our back, which is what I kind of prefer. But if you don't have one of these, you can just put your hands on your head or across your chest. I usually recommend starting at your chest, because what I find happens when people put it on their head, they extend backwards like this, and we don't want to do that. We want to still keep our ribs and our hips stacked, which hands forward usually lets us do a little better. So going back to the dowel rod here, I'm gonna put this on my back. Hands can be wherever you want, doesn't really matter. And then what I'm gonna try to do from this position, as I mentioned, I wanna make sure I stay stacked. And then I'm gonna create tension with my left foot here, inner heel, create some pressure there, and I'm gonna start to feel a little bit of tension out here, totally normal. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna rotate towards this down stance leg. So I'm gonna bring my right side, exhale, twist towards my left as far as I comfortably can. Inhale, exhale. Rotate back, same thing. Exhale and twist. So this is a mobilization where we're just going to rotate a couple times. Well, I usually recommend shoot for 8 to 10 twists, but for time's sake, I'm going to stop there. And then what we're going to do, once I get in this position on that last one, hopefully I felt like I've opened up a little bit. You're going to feel a stretch on the outer part of your hip, kind of deep in your butt or at the hip joint. You're going to feel that. It's pretty normal. Again, make sure this leg also stays straight. We don't want it bowing out. And then what I'm going to do from this position, now I'm going to perform some lateral flexion. So I'm going to go away from the downside leg. So I'm going to go towards my right in this case. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale, exhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to bend and then come back. I'm going to twist a little bit more. Inhale, exhale, and do again. And try to keep side bending. Once I feel a good stretch, kind of stay there, perform a couple of them. Now I'm feeling my lateral hip a lot, my TFL, even feel my QL a little bit. And then I'm in a good position, I stand up, I'm gonna feel that kind of start to relax in my hip. Now you can certainly do both sides, but I would say this is something you probably want to target on a specific side more so than doing both. If you want to play some preventative damage, did not have any kind of hip issues, then I would obviously do both sides. So what this is really trying to do from this perspective is my down stance leg. If you have a hard time getting internal rotation, so if you're somebody just looking, you're like, I don't have a lot of that, by having our knee on the ground and our foot placed against this, we're actually gonna force our hip into that internal rotation because we're anchoring it down with the ground, and we're actually gonna rotate our body to open that up rather than try to actually rotate the femur around the hip. We're gonna rotate the hip or the dominance of the the pelvis around the hip, and that's going to help us be able to open up that side. And then as we do some lateral flexion work, again, we're going to get that TFL and that QL to kind of relax and open up. And as we're breathing, you're going to feel that start to open up, and you're going to create some space to be able to move into, so then your hip feels better. So when you're going to have to do hip flexion, hip extension, any lateral work, squats, deadlifts, your hip's going to have more ability to move more fluid, and that's going to prevent those aches and pains. So what I usually recommend, for somebody incredibly tight, this would be a daily thing. That's what I've started doing every single day. Just doing 10 to 12, 15 rotations in 10 to 12, 15 side bends with good quality breath cycles really helps it feel good. And I'm only doing it just once a day. If you really want to be a stickler on it, you can do it obviously every day, and then going into part of your warm up before you squat, bench, deadlift, anything like that. But just place where you feel like you need fit. But the key thing here is I probably just make sure that you're consistent with it, and then you'll see some good results and improve your hip internal rotation. You got any questions? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks. Have a great day.